Listen to me. Some of you are losing because you keep looking at everybody else's lane. You're checking who's ahead of you, who's behind you, who's getting more likes, who's shining brighter. You're distracted, and distractions are killing your dream. Every second you spend watching somebody else, you're stealing time from yourself. You think you're studying competition, but what you're really doing is abandoning your own vision. You're giving all your energy to somebody else's life, and then you wonder why you're tired, why you're empty, why you don't feel fulfilled. It's because your focus has been hijacked. You've got to lock in on why you are vision. Lock in on what God gave you. Nobody else was born with your fingerprints. Nobody else has your exact set of gifts, your exact calling, your exact fire. And here you are, wasting your uniqueness, trying to copy somebody else's formula. Let me tell you something, duplication will never beat authenticity. You can never beat someone at their own game, but you can dominate when you play your game. I need you to stop living for validation. You're waiting on people to clap for you, to like your post, to approve your dream. And I'm telling you right now, stop renting out your self-worth to other people's opinions. You don't need applause to go after what's yours. You don't need permission to chase destiny. Your vision is enough, but only if you give it your undivided focus. When you truly focus on yourself, something happens. You start to notice growth. You start to feel stronger, sharper, clearer. The fog begins to lift, and what was once impossible starts to feel within reach. But you'll never get there if your eyes are always wandering. You've got to be so locked in that you don't even notice the noise anymore. You don't even notice who's watching. You don't notice the critics, the doubters, the gossipers, because your energy is too busy being poured into your assignment. Focus is not glamorous. Focus means turning down invitations. Focus means saying no to distractions that look fun in the moment, but cost you in the long run. Focus means being misunderstood. People are going to call you selfish. They're going to say you changed. They're going to whisper, who do they think they are? But you've got to be okay with that, because you're not here to please people. You're here to fulfill purpose, and purpose demands focus. You've got to want it bad enough to stay disciplined when nobody's watching. That's what focus really is. It's not just about saying, I want success. It's about proving it with your daily choices. It's about waking up early, studying when you're tired, practicing when nobody's clapping, creating when nobody's consuming. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you shock the world. Because while they were distracted, you were developing. While they were gossiping, you were grinding. While they were posting, you were preparing. And when it's time to show up, your results will scream louder than anything they said. Some of you don't even realize that your future is depending on your focus. Your family's breakthrough is tied to your discipline. Your children's children are going to eat off the seeds you plant today, but you can't plant anything if your eyes are always wandering to someone else's garden. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. Stop measuring your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Stop letting jealousy drain you of the energy you need for your own grind. You're not late. You're not behind. You're not less talented. You're just distracted. And the moment you decide to lock in, everything changes. Because focus turns potential into power. Focus takes ideas and turns them into reality. Focus transforms average into unstoppable. So here's the challenge for the next season of your life. I dare you to ignore the noise. I dare you to stop scrolling long enough to build. I dare you to stop chasing approval and start chasing growth. I dare you to stop worrying about who's ahead and start worrying about who you were yesterday. Because if you can beat yesterday's version of you every single day, eventually the world won't be able to ignore you. Focus on yourself and shock everyone. Everybody wants to shine, but nobody wants to sacrifice. Everybody wants the spotlight, the success, the respect. But when it comes time to pay the price, that's when most people quit. Let me tell you the truth. Greatness is expensive. Success is costly. And if you're not willing to give up something now, don't you dare expect to have something later. The world doesn't give you discounts because you want it easy. The world doesn't hand you dreams because you hope. It demands payment in sacrifice, and the payment is due every single day. Sacrifice means making decisions that don't feel good in the moment, but build you for the future. It means you're willing to be uncomfortable now so you can be unshakable later. It means you're okay missing out on temporary pleasure because you're chasing permanent power. And that's where most people fail. They want results, but they don't want the responsibility. They want destiny, but they don't want discipline. You can't have it both ways. You can't eat the cake and keep the weight off. You can't party all night and expect to be productive in the morning. You can't give average effort and expect elite results. Life doesn't work like that. You've got to understand success comes with a trade. If you want to go to the next level, something has to be left behind. Old habits, old friends, old excuses. They don't fit in the luggage when you're traveling to greatness. You've got to drop them off. You've got to be willing to cut ties with comfort. Sacrifice means saying no when everybody else says yes. Sacrifice means staying up when your body wants to lay down. Sacrifice means doing the hard thing today so the easy life is waiting tomorrow. And don't get it twisted. Sacrifice is not punishment. Sacrifice is an investment. Every rep you put in at the gym when nobody's watching, every book you read when everyone else is binge watching shows, every dollar you save while others waste, it all compounds. It all builds interest. And when it's time to cash out, when it's time to reap the harvest, you'll be so far ahead people will think you came out of nowhere. But you didn't come out of nowhere. You came out of sacrifice. You've got to stop letting temporary satisfaction rob you of long-term success. That quick thrill, that moment of fun, that easy way out. It feels good now, but it costs you later. Every time you choose comfort over sacrifice, you're stealing from your future self. You're making tomorrow harder because you were too weak today. And every time you choose sacrifice, you're making tomorrow easier. You're making tomorrow brighter. You're building momentum that will carry you further than you can even imagine. Sacrifice will separate you. While they're laughing now, you'll be laughing later. While they're shining on the surface, you'll be shining for real. Because their shine is temporary. Their shine is rented. Yours is earned. Yours is permanent. The world respects sacrifice because it produces results. It creates a level of discipline, resilience, and character that you cannot fake. You can fake talent. You can fake confidence, but you cannot fake sacrifice. It leaves fingerprints on your life. People can see it. They can feel it. And here's the thing. Once you embrace sacrifice, it stops feeling like suffering. You start to see it as strategy. You realize that saying no today is really saying yes to a bigger tomorrow. You realize that losing sleep over your dream feels better than sleeping peacefully in mediocrity. You realize that missing out on the party is nothing compared to missing out on your potential. And when you start to taste progress, when you start to feel that growth, sacrifice becomes addictive. You start looking for more ways to cut, more ways to discipline yourself, because you've seen what it produces. You've got to decide, do you want comfort or do you want your calling? Because you can't have both. Comfort will give you pleasure now, but regret later. Sacrifice will hurt now, but reward you forever. And you've got to make that choice every single day. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to sacrifice for you. This is your grind, your gift, your future. And if you don't respect it enough to protect it with sacrifice, don't expect anybody else to respect it either. So I need you to stop complaining about what it costs. Stop whining about what you have to give up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself because it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it worth it. That's what makes it rare. If it was easy, everybody would have it. But everybody doesn't have it because everybody's not willing to sacrifice. Sacrifice now, shine later. Listen to me, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a reason why they can't. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't have support. I didn't go to the right school. Oh, I'm too old. I'm too young. Excuses sound good. They sound logical. They even sound fair sometimes. But excuses don't build dreams. Excuses don't pay bills. Excuses don't change lives. At the end of the day, nobody's going to respect you for the excuses you made. The world will only respect the results you produced in spite of them. And I know you've been through some stuff. I know life hasn't been fair. I know you've been knocked down, betrayed, overlooked, underestimated. But let me ask you something. Are you going to let that be the reason you stop, or are you going to let that be the reason you go harder? Because the people who win in this life are not the ones with the best circumstances. They're the ones who refuse to bow down to excuses. They're the ones who find a way when the door is locked, when the bridge is burned, when the resources are gone. They're the ones who decide, I'm not letting this stop me. You've got to understand, excuses are comfortable. They let you off the hook. They let you blame something else instead of holding yourself accountable. Excuses give you a story to tell people so you don't look lazy. But here's the truth. Excuses keep you broke. Excuses keep you average. Excuses keep you from the greatness that's waiting on the other side of pain. And as long as you keep rehearsing them, as long as you keep feeding them, they're going to keep growing. You've got to kill excuses with effort. You've got to outwork them. You've got to look at that excuse and say, you're not going to own me anymore. If the excuse is, I don't have time, then you wake up earlier. If the excuse is, I don't have resources, then you use creativity and grind until you find them. If the excuse is, I'm not talented enough, then you practice until talent doesn't matter. There is always a way, but the only way you'll find it is if you stop nursing excuses and start building solutions. Let me make this clear. Nobody cares about your excuses. The world is full of people with tough backgrounds, real pain, impossible odds, who still found a way to win. You think the world is going to stop and say, well, they didn't succeed, but at least they had a good excuse. No, the world is going to pass you by. The world is going to forget your excuses, but it will never forget your results. The greatest revenge against excuses is work. Relentless, unstoppable, undeniable work. Work that silences the critics. Work that makes your past irrelevant. Work that takes all the reasons you shouldn't have made it and flips them into reasons you did. When you put in that kind of work, people stop asking about your story. They start asking for your strategy. They stop looking down on you and they start looking up to you. Every excuse you have is really a challenge. And the moment you flip it, the moment you say, this is not going to stop me, this is going to build me, that's when the shift happens. That's when the weight you've been carrying becomes the muscle you need for the next level. That's when your pain becomes your power. But it doesn't happen until you decide to stop letting excuses dictate your life. And hear me, this is not about being perfect. This is not about never feeling tired, never feeling discouraged. This is about refusing to quit. This is about refusing to give excuses more power than your effort. You can cry, but you better keep moving. You can hurt, but you better keep grinding. You can feel scared, but you better keep showing up. Because consistency beats excuses every single time. You've got to be willing to bet on yourself when nobody else will. You've got to say, yeah, I've got obstacles. Yeah, I've got flaws. Yeah, I've got setbacks. But watch me work. Watch me grind. Watch me turn every excuse into fuel. That's the mentality that separates the great from the average. That's the mentality that takes you from being forgotten to being unforgettable. So stop giving energy to excuses. Stop rehearsing why it won't work and start working until it does. Stop waiting for someone to feel sorry for you and start building something that makes people respect you. Excuses don't pay, but effort always does. Outwork your excuses. You don't have to tell people what you're doing. You don't have to announce every move you make. You don't have to broadcast your grind. Because when you're really locked in, when you're really committed, your results are going to do the talking for you. The loudest noise you'll ever make is not with your mouth. It's with your life. It's what people see when they look at you. It's the fruit of your labor. The problem is too many of you want to be seen before you've produced. You want credit for potential. You want recognition for effort. You want applause for showing up. But the world doesn't clap for effort. It claps for execution. Nobody cares how many hours you studied if you didn't pass the test. Nobody cares how much you trained if you didn't win the race. Nobody cares how much you talked about your dream if you didn't deliver on it. That's the reality. Results are the only language this world truly respects. You've got to fall in love with being underestimated. You've got to be okay with people doubting you, overlooking you, laughing at you. Let them. Don't waste time arguing with them. Don't waste energy proving them wrong with words. Just work. Just grind. Just stay consistent long enough that the same people who doubted you have to eat their words, because nothing silences doubt like undeniable results. And hear me, shocking the world isn't about showing off. It's about showing up. It's about being so disciplined, so committed, so relentless that when it's time to reveal what you've been working on, it leaves people speechless. It leaves people shaking their heads saying, where did that come from? It came from the nights nobody saw. It came from the sacrifices nobody knew about. It came from the hours you spent locked in when everyone else was distracted. The sweetest moment of success isn't when you post about it. It's when people who thought you'd never make it can't deny that you did. It's when the same mouths that spoke against you are forced to speak your name with respect. And not because you clapped back, not because you tried to convince them, but because your results left them no choice. You've got to understand the grind is lonely. You're going to spend seasons where nobody is cheering for you. Seasons where people think you're wasting your time. Seasons where it looks like nothing is happening. That's the testing ground. That's where champions are built. Because if you can keep grinding in silence, if you can keep pushing without applause, if you can keep showing up without recognition, when your moment finally comes, it's going to be so big, so undeniable, that the same silence they gave you then is going to be replaced with shock now. And here's the truth: results are contagious. When you produce at a high level, people can't help but notice. They can't help but be inspired. You don't even have to tell them to respect you. Your life demands it. That's the kind of power results give you. That's the kind of credibility, sacrifice, and focus create. People can debate your opinions. They can dismiss your dreams, but they cannot argue with results. So stop wasting time trying to convince people to believe in you. Stop begging people to support you. Stop needing validation. Put that energy into building, into producing, into delivering. Because when the results show up, the respect will follow. And the people who ignored you will have no choice but to pay attention. The ones who counted you out will have no choice but to count you in. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to prove anything to anyone with words. Just let your results speak. Because the grind doesn't lie. Effort doesn't lie. Consistency doesn't lie. Whatever you've truly been working on will eventually show. And when it shows, it'll shock everybody who doubted you, and it'll inspire everybody who believed in you. So let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. You don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself results. And when those results come, the same people who ignored you, the same people who doubted you, the same people who dismissed you, they'll have to stand there in shock while you shine. Shock the world with results.